Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What is going on, guys, and welcome to episode 232 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I am your host, of course, Jeff Lambert. You can follow me on Twitter at JeffLambert77. We are, of course, part of the Going for Two Live podcast network, and you can find us right here every Wednesday and Friday night on Facebook Live, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Syndicated in all major podcast networks and in the Going for Two app for iOS and Android. I'm here with my co-host, as always, Mr. Ryan Searfoss. Ryan, what's up, man?
Not too much. Just enjoying football season, man. No, nothing crazy. It's same old, but it's football season, so it's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It's a bye week, so I can enjoy it.
And you're once again, you are frozen. So I don't know if you want to just leave yourself frozen because you've now restarted your computer like 3 times before we started the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna find a position. I'm gonna keep doing it until I'm frozen in a position that's sexy, right. And then
So you'll be doing it the whole show, basically, what you're telling me.
A man, pretty. I know what you mean, but anyhow.
All right. Also joining us on the show tonight, founder of the FantasySixPack.net, host of the Fantasy Six Pack Hour. 2-time top 5 ranker at Fantasy Pros. He's also my co-host on Sunday nights. If you watch us at the halftime show, Mr. Joe Bond, you can follow him on Twitter at F6P_Joe. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, glad to have you on. It's been a while since we've had you on. You came on. It's been at least a year, if not longer than that.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Yeah, but glad to get
you. I've been telling Jeff every week for at least 2 years to bring you back. He doesn't listen.
It's all right, man. There's lots of guys out there you got to get on. Lots of people we got to get on. So I get it.
Definitely. All right, so give my listeners a little rundown of what y'all do at Fantasy Six Pack and just what you do in general in the fantasy space.
Yeah, man. So FantasySixPack.net, we do a little bit of everything. We do, obviously, football, baseball, but, we dabble in basketball. We dabble in hockey. We do DFS, everything, if we can try it. We do golf. We got, draft coverage, NFL draft coverage. We've expanded our team huge this year. We got a, bigger dynasty baseball team. We got a much bigger basketball and hockey team in this year. So things are expanding. We've got a few more podcasts. We've got our own YouTube channel and things like that. So things are just the rocking and rolling this year, man. I'm loving it.
Good stuff, man.
I'm going to check it out for the fantasy basketball. My team needs some help.
Mine too.
I love my very first one, and it's been a struggle.
I basically didn't watch basketball myself for like 2 years and didn't play for 2 years. I killed my leagues for like years before that, and it was just like I don't just lost total interest once COVID hit and everything. It was just like not the same, and I just couldn't get into it. And this year it's showing big time. I'm hoping it's just early. I got a few of my players kind of like James Harden only averaging like 18 points a game. You're like, all right, no, James, come on, dude.
Yeah, that'll change. That'll definitely change.
Yeah, last year was my very first draft ever for it, and just missed the playoffs. I'm a little upset about it still.
I've actually only played one NBA fantasy league, and I wasn't a fan of it, and I have not played since. And I love the NBA. I watch a lot of the games, but I play DFS. I can't do season long. It's too much management for me.
See, actually fantasy basketball was like the first one that I really like got sucked into big time.
Wow.
That was like my favorite because I loved watching the NBA. I mean, yeah, we all love football, but basketball just felt like maybe it's because I had a lot of success in it more than any other ones.
That helps.
But that's what really got me sucked into like wanting to write about this.
All right, good shit.
And now the five 101s.
All right, the way this works, I'm going to give you 5 categories, Joe, and you're going to give me your 101 of that category, and we'll kick it off here. Of course, you got a website called Fancy Six Pack. The first one's got to be your favorite adult beverage.
Yeah, so I kind of went the easy route here and looked up my Untapped, and my only other 5 that I've given out besides my I call it my Gateway IPA, which was a loose cannon. It's just kind of a joke between me and my friends who gave me crap for liking that one. Is a beer it's from Equilibrium Brewery. It's called D-Hop 19. I gave this a 5, man. Granted, it was on New Year's Day. It might have been a little hungover, but no, it was solid, man. It was very, very good. I do remember having it. It was just a couple years ago. Kind of if I don't want to pick beer, I guess like a margarita is like where I go to. Like if I'm at like a good like especially like a good Mexican restaurant or something like that, man, a margarita will hit the spot for sure.
Because I think that's the first time we've had actually somebody go and give us like an actual brand of a beer, or just like it's rum or it's an old fashioned. You're like, this is the beer that I drink. This is my 101.
Oh no, like you can't find it. It's tough to find. Like I've had it once.
I feel like I've had their like Equilibrium before.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. Like when I saw it on I had heard of them before. It's hard to find down here. I think they're a New York brewery, and so it's hard to find down here. It was just happened to be at a restaurant that I went to on New Year's Day, and I was like 100% trying this, and it was well worth it.
Nice,
so
good stuff. All right, what is your 101 concert that you've been to?
Yeah, so I went to an Eric Church concert a couple of years ago in Tennessee. And it was part of his Double Down tour. And so the idea of that tour was he did 2 shows in back-to-back nights in the same city. But in Tennessee, he did 1 show, 1 night. So it was a 3-hour solo show. It was the most phenomenal show I've ever been to. He basically this was like a big, basically like middle finger to Tennessee and to Nashville, because they basically kept saying like, no, you can't do a concert in the Tennessee Titans Stadium. You'll never sell it out and blah blah blah. Like he sold it out, and like it was the biggest concert in that stadium ever.
Wow.
Yeah,
he
killed it, man. That was an incredible concert.
And he played everything you wanted him to play.
Oh, and then some.
I mean, 3 hours he played everything.
Yeah,
so he had like a intermission, and he did like a medley of like all these like rock songs too. It was great.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm really jealous. I'm really jealous.
All right, give us your 101 for desserts.
Yeah, man. So for me, not the biggest dessert guy, but a good cheesecake will do it to me, man.
Cheesecake's my weakness as well.
Like get kind of like a chocolate peanut butter type cheesecake thing, man. That'll do it for me.
Yeah. Cheesecake is definitely my weakness as well whenever I get dessert. I don't get dessert often, but when I do, cheesecake is the way I go. All right, 101 for your all-time TV show.
So many ways you can go with this one. I had to go with a bit of a classic, and it's Seinfeld. I mean, just legendary, man. That show is so classic, and like every episode just kills it.
Yeah.
So had to go there.
Yeah, that's a popular one. When we've had this category on there, it gets.
I figured I have a second one. If you really want to hear it, it's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Just like something we grew up with. It was funny. It was always on. Like the reruns were on when we got home from school, like when we were kids, and like it's just. And it was stupid and funny at the same time. Like it just something we grew up with. So that's kind of a second one for me.
I just rewatched that because it was on HBO Max.
Hell yeah, man.
Like from start to beginning, and I remembered everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
That I did.
It's awesome.
And it was still hilarious. It was funnier as an adult.
Yeah.
Like it's funnier this time through.
Good stuff. All right, and the last one here is your 101 celebrity you'd like to meet.
I had a tough time with this one. I'm not a big like celebrity guy, honestly. But so I went with somebody that like maybe it's just a celebrity like in our little circle here of like fantasy industry guys. And Matthew Berry, like I've never met the guy. I would love to. Like there's so many of us, me included, that are doing this because of what he laid out for us.
Yeah.
I've read his book. We all gave him crap for being on ESPN or whatnot, because he's just an easy target, right? Like, so many people do it.
The fact is, we all want to be him, basically.
Because in the end, we're all super jealous.
Yep.
So I would love to like meet him and just have a beer and just talk to shit with him, man. I think it'd be fun.
Good stuff. All right, let's jump right into it.
News and notes from around the league.
News and notes, as always, brought to you by the Dynasty Trade Calculator. Everybody hates bad trade offers, right? No one wants to be that guy. Never make a bad offer again with Dynasty Trade Calculator. Visit goingfor2.com/DTC to sign up for $15 a year. That's right. All you do is go to goingfor2.com/DTC, get the best trade calculator for only $15 a year. Stop guessing, start calculating. All right, so we had a couple of trades, not major trades here, but I just want to talk about them and see if they do anything for you in fantasy. Flacco gets traded to the Jets. Really, I'm not worried about Flacco so much as I am the pieces around Flacco. Ryan, does this help like players like Corey Davis or Elijah Moore, any of those guys in that passing game?
I think it'll hurt. I think it's going to help one person. I don't know who it's going to be yet. I'd assume Corey Davis, because he fits the mold of the guy that Flacco likes to go to. Normally, I'd say the tight end, but that's kind of a shit show there. Yeah. So I'd assume it'd be the big body receiver. But you're going to figure out his first week starting who his guy is, and once Flacco finds somebody, he just locks onto him. So it's just a matter of that. I'd assume Corey Davis, but as I said, you're going to learn real quick.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Joe? Any thoughts?
On a real answer.
Any thoughts on this passing game here? And then really doesn't do anything.
Doesn't really do anything for me. I mean, like, look, there's talk that Flacco's not even going to start. It's going to be Mike Wright, I think is what his name is.
Mike White.
Mike White. Yeah. I mean, nobody ever heard of this guy until middle of the game last week. Just a few days ago. Flacco is probably going to get in this game because it's Mike White. I don't know. Sure. I'd be curious to see if he utilizes Elijah Moore a little bit. That'd be interesting, but nothing really is jumping off the page for me.
Yeah,
I don't want pieces of this offense.
Yeah, no. I don't want no pieces
in general.
Yep, I agree. Running game,
their lines. They're also getting sacked so much there.
And Flacco's not very.
That was with a sort of mobile quarterback,
right?
Yeah, Flacco's.
It's not going to be good.
He might not survive if he starts.
Yep.
He might just be there in case Mike White doesn't survive. It's just precaution.
That's exactly why they did it.
Yeah, it's just I don't want none of it.
Yeah,
this team's bad.
Agreed, 100%. All right, today we had another trade of older veteran guy, Mark Ingram, headed back to the Saints. I'm not so much worried about Mark Ingram as I am, people are worried about Alvin Kamara and him losing any kind of goal line touches, that kind of thing. Are you worried about Mark Ingram if you're a Kamara owner, Joe?
No, if anything, crazily, I kind of think this could help him. I mean, we're seeing this year his attempts in the rushing game increase significantly, and you have to worry with him that it wasn't going to be sustainable, health-wise for him, just because he's never had that kind of workload, and he has had health issues in the past. We know he's going to be involved in this passing game tremendously. I mean, look at last week; it was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, the number of attempts he was getting per game was kind of scary. He's well over halfway of his previous season high. And we're only 6 games through the season for the Saints. So they needed to slow it down, and they didn't have anybody after Tony Jones went out.
Yeah, that's a good call. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this backfield here? You think Ingram has any fantasy value, and does it hurt Kamara at all?
I think Ingram have a little bit of fantasy value. Flex on a good matchup type when they're going to win and pound the rock to end the game and work the clock. But I think it's good for Kamara, especially because we want him healthy come fantasy playoffs so he can perform a miracle like last year. And he's always, his entire career, been at his best when he's part of a 1-2 punch because he can stay fresh and stay electric. Yep. He's not like Derrick Henry who beats the crap out of you and gets strong as he goes. You want Kamara fresh to just embarrass people. And guess what? Mark Ingram wears the defenses down a little bit. So I really like it for him. So I think it's a good thing all around.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think it keeps Kamara fresh, and I think I actually do like this as a Kamara owner. Limit his touches in the running game, and keep him in the passing game, and that's really where his value is. So I love it for that. All right, let's move to some receivers. Tomorrow night's game, most likely without Devante Adams, definitely without Allen Lazard. Both are on the COVID list. Adams has a slight chance to still clear. Lazard's not vaccinated, so he has no chance of making the game. So this offense, Joe, what's it going to look like tomorrow night? Are you worried about Aaron Rodgers if you're an owner? Is there any receivers you're interested in off the waiver wire that you wanted to add?
I mean, I am slightly worried about Aaron Rodgers. I don't think he's going to put up, the numbers that you would expect from him, although he hasn't really done that all season, unfortunately. But I think they're going to lean heavily on the running game. And Cobb and Tunyon are going to be the two guys here because they already don't have MVS. So it's slim pickings here for this passing game.
Now, there is a chance that MVS gets cleared off of IR. They have a chance to clear him. I don't know if he's ready to play like a full game or not. Any interest in MVS if he's out there in any leagues?
I mean, you'd have to be real desperate. And this is a really slow bye week. So I would doubt that teams are desperate enough to throw out an MVS or even a Cobb. Like I hesitate to throw him out there. I have a pretty beat up receiving core in one league and dealing with, just so happens, I've got Ruggs in that league too. So I am dealing with a couple of injuries and, one bye week. And so I went out and snagged Cobb just because, well, why not? And, that would be probably the only guy I care about. You've already seen the chemistry between him and Rodgers once this season, at least twice maybe. And I think it's they can pick it up. He's not gonna do Adams, kind of work, but he should be okay.
Yeah, so I think I agree with you with the running game being more of a central point. And Ryan, I want to ask you. Obviously, Aaron Jones gets a bump, but what about AJ Dillon behind him? Any interest in playing him as a 1-2 punch in a run heavy offense, maybe?
I mean, I don't mind starting him, depending on what my running back situation is like, which could be really ugly this year. But no, I mean, if you start 2 or 3 flexes, I have no problem with that, with him in there, or you're in a deep league. He's going to get volume because they're not going to run Aaron Jones 40 times. He could probably still realistically see 15 to 20 touches, just with how much they're going to have to run the ball or pass to the running backs because these wide receivers are terrible. Yep.
I think I agree there as well. I think in the deep league he's startable, or if you're just in a pinch and you've got a bunch of injured guys or bye weeks, I think he is someone you can plug into your flex. All right, let's talk about Mr. Antonio Brown, who's actually rumored to be out for a while. He's on crutches right now. Obviously, the question is, Joe, to you is in redraft leagues, are you just holding on to Antonio Brown, or you think he'll be out long enough that he's not worth holding on to?
It's hard to say because they haven't given a timetable. If I can hold, if I've got a good enough record and I'm not desperate for wins and not dealing with a whole bunch of other injuries, yeah, I'm trying to hold because it is clear that he is a favorite target of Mr. Tom Brady, and obviously Tom Brady's going to try to shatter the touchdown record somehow this year at age 49. I'm just kidding, but we're getting close. Obviously, I think in most leagues there's IR spots at this point, especially with COVID still hanging around.
Yeah.
Most leagues implemented IR slots, so take advantage of that for sure. I do have AB in one league, and thankfully you can stash him in an IR spot. But if you don't have IR, I think it is team dependent, honestly. You've got to have a solid enough record to think you can make the playoffs or get close to the playoffs without him. And then hopefully once you're there, he comes back or helps get you there at the final push. If you're desperate for wins and you don't have IR spots and you kind of a weaker bench or a smaller bench, then I think you might have to make that tough call and cut him, or maybe try to trade him.
Yeah,
I would try that first before I outright cut him for sure.
Yeah, trade him to someone that maybe is a contender. If you're not a contender, trade
Right.
him, and they can hold on to him and see if they can use him when the playoffs come around. So yeah, I was going to suggest that as well. If you're not a contender and you can't afford to hold him, try to trade him to somebody that is a contender that's got receivers that are pretty good, and you can afford to stash him on the bench. And
the only thing I heard from him, the only thing we heard from Arians today was they're hopeful he can come back after the week 9 bye, so week 10. That's what they're hopeful for. So that wouldn't be
it's not too
terrible.
bad. Yeah.
Especially for a guy who has been performing like Antonio Brown has.
Yeah, agreed. Obviously, Ryan, the question I want to ask you is, I mean, we kind of saw it a little bit last week, but what does that do for Evans, Godwin, Gronk when he comes back healthy? I mean, all these guys get a bump in value, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's wheels up. The way they're throwing the ball, those two are both top 12 receivers. And the way he uses them, and as much as they throw, he's still there. They're still there. And same with Gronk. Like, he's going to be a top 7 tight end.
Yeah. Yep, I agree 100%. I mean, I think all those targets just kind of filter out evenly between the three of them, and they were already startable, obviously, in fantasy. So the fact that, Brown's not there taking up targets, they're going to be even better.
I think it helps Fournette in the red zone, too. Because Brown was somebody that got targeted a lot down there, and Fournette's just running through everybody. So I think it helps him even, too.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's talk about my 49ers. We're going to combine a bunch of topics here into one. First topic is that they're still starting Jimmy G. They're not ready to pull the trigger and start Lance. So my question first is, do you agree with that decision? And then with Kettle likely back and then Debo missing practice today, are we even interested in any of these receivers or any of these pass catchers with the situation with all the quarterbacks being out and the receivers in and out? I'll go to you first, Joe.
All right, so Jimmy G isn't the right call, 100%. We've seen Lance; he's not ready to be a, full-time starting quarterback yet. The passing game is not there for him right now. As far as the receivers, I must have missed the news on who'd you say?
Debo. On Debo on the calf?
On Debo, yeah. What's going on with him?
He got a calf injury. He didn't practice today, so we know there's a calf injury.
I didn't see that either.
That's never good, man. If he's out, I don't really. I mean, look, if he's out and Kittle's back, I mean, we're going back to Kettle of like last year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, where like they had no pass catchers, because they clearly don't want to use Ayuk this year, which is crazy. But if Debo can play, I love him. The volume he's getting is just phenomenal, and the pass, the yards after the catch have been just crazy too. So yeah, I'm plugging him in as long as I can if he's healthy. But obviously that's something we're gonna have to keep an eye on. But I do like Kettle when he comes back. I like him less with Debo there, but I like him more than I think we saw early on, where they just weren't using him at all. I think they're going to wise up and be smarter than that.
Yeah, I think I agree there too. And hopefully it's just like a Veterans Day, but I did pull up the note here. So Debo missed practice today with a calf. Shanahan said he's optimistic that Samuel will play this week versus the Bears. But I think, to your point, Joe, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Debo has more target share than any receiver in the NFL except for Devante Adams right now in the NFL. He's been one of those. I mean, he's just being targeted. Granted, they're not throwing as much as the other teams are, but as far as target share goes, he's in the 40% range, I believe. Ryan, I want to go to you on this question as well. Kind of give me your thoughts.
He actually is ahead of Adams. He's 36.7 to 33.8.
Wow. That's insane.
Yeah, incredible.
That's insane. Ryan, give me your thoughts here. Give me your thoughts first on the Jimmy G Lance thing. Did you want to see Lance? And then on this passing game.
I'm okay with Jimmy G starting right now, but you guys are 2-4, and 1 or 2 more losses. Give the kid a chance. Just throw him in there.
Yep.
Like, it gets to the point your season's lost. Start Lance. I'm fine with it now if they still hold some degree of hope, even though their division stacked. The end of the wild card, it gets real ugly after the first 5 teams in the NFC. So there's always that hope they're just holding out because everybody kind of sucks unless you're a top team. But once they're out, I think you have to start Trey Lance.
Yeah, I think I agree there, and for the reasons you said. Now, I think we're talking fantasy. I want Jimmy G in there. I think Jimmy G's the better quarterback. He's going to be able to feed Debo.
Yeah,
the offense just runs better. But if we're talking strictly just NFL, I want to see Lance. I mean, you look who's in our division. We had the Rams, might be the best team in the NFL, and then we have the Cardinals, who are technically, by record-wise, are the best team in the NFL. So we're at 2-4. We're a lot worse than a lot of other 2-4 teams in the NFL right now because we have a long hill to climb up. And then we got the Seahawks sitting behind us, but they'll get Russell Wilson back eventually, and then we'll be in trouble with that as well. So if we continue on this path here, I want to see Lance in there. But again, from a fantasy standpoint, give me Jimmy G. What are your thoughts on Kettle and Debo? And Ayuk, for that matter, too. You think he has any value if Debo ends up being out?
Honestly, if Debo ends up being out, the only person I want to start is Kettle. Like, on the whole offense, because you guys are a nightmare.
Yes, we are.
Just
Elijah Mitchell, he's been solid.
Elijah Mitchell's been pretty good.
Elijah Mitchell, yeah. But, like, pass catcher-wise, they're a nightmare. Something's up with Ayuk. We don't know, but, like, something's up. Like, there's no way. It just doesn't make sense.
He's being Dante Pettis. That's what I'm calling it now.
He was on the field a ton this past game. He ran like 20 routes.
Yeah.
It was insane. He was on the field for like 90% of the plays or something like that. I think was what I read. But he ran 20 routes. That means he blocked the rest of the time.
Yep.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Why?
And they're not a team that's a high-powered offense. Like, we're not seeing them throw the ball a ton or efficiently downfield where we're going to see multiple guys having volume.
Yep.
When Kittle's back, it's going to be Kettle. If it's Kettle and Debo, it's those two. And boom.
And that's it.
Hard line.
Yep.
No one else.
From what I recall, they got smashed on Sunday night, and so I'm sitting here going, who was he blocking for? Because why wasn't he running routes to get open and go downfield? Like that's what doesn't make any sense with Ayuk. Like, he is in Shanahan's doghouse somehow, and nobody understands why.
Yep. Like I said, he's being Dante Pettis. He's being Dante Pettis. All right, let's just do one more on the news and notes here. I want to talk about Jerry Judy because I know, Joe, you mentioned you're getting Judy back in your Scott Fish Bowl. Ryan, I know you love Jerry Judy. Is he a starter this week for you? Or are you just plugging him in, hoping that he gets the same volume that he got before he got hurt?
In Scott Fish, 100%. Just because you have to start so many players. There's so many flexes in that league. I think he is. And I thought I had my rankings up. I do not, so I apologize for that. I was going to try to see where he is. But I would say in most cases, yeah. I mean, he's going to plug right in there. I mean, his first week, if I'm not wrong, 7 targets in a half of a football
game, yeah.
Half a game. Half of a football. Yeah, that was great. Half of a football game, I guess I should have said. I do have Judy 33 right now. So, I mean, he can move up. Washington's not a great defense.
It's an understatement of the year right there.
Either, though. So, it is kind of, you want to see him perform again. But I've got guys like Antonio Brown above him. I've got to change that. I did these last night before the Antonio Brown news came out. I've got him behind Lockett and Claypool and Cooks and Waddles, and I could easily slide him up like another 8 spots and feel okay with it.
Yeah.
And so he'd be like the borderline bottom wide receiver 2 there. And this is half PPR. That's what I normally go by my rankings by. But yeah, I like him. I think the volume's going to be there. I think obviously this is going to crush Tim Patrick. This offense can only sustain 2 receivers, and it's going to be Sutton and Judy. And Judy should lead the way.
Yeah. What about you, Ryan? Are you feel the same way about Judy?
God, this just makes me so happy. Like, Jerry Judy.
Let's just hope it lasts longer than 2 quarters.
I know, dude. I love Jerry Judy. Honestly, as you were talking, I may have put him in my starting lineup, my Scott Fish Bowl. I was gonna like try to stay strong and start Chanel, but you're right, dude. You got targets. Yeah, I just can't do it.
No.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying to help you, number 36, but or whatever you said you were, but
38.
Yeah.
No,
I'm trying to keep you down there. I'm number 9, so bye. Stay down there.
Yeah, like you said, he got targeted 7 times in like a half a football.
Yep.
They love him, And long as Teddy Bridgewater's in there, that's the kind of receiver he gravitates to.
Man.
We said honestly, like it was DJ Moore in Carolina. It's Jerry Judy here.
Yep.
He loves him, and it's wheels up, man. I'd like if I could maybe not start him and just see him in action healthy. I'd feel better, but you know what?
You're gonna get from Chenault nothing. I mean,
Nothing,
unless
yeah.
he catches
No,
like a
that's
random 50-yard pass, it's nothing
I'd
to
say
him.
in general on like another team, but yeah, I'm not gonna start Chenault over him. I was debating starting AJ Green over Chenault.
I just realized I got Cup in round 7 and Jerry Judy around 8, and I do realize it's super flex, so that's a little bump down in value there, but
That's ridiculous.
that seems just absolutely absurd.
That's absurd.
I was upset I didn't get Cup in that.
That's
But-
I
yeah.
didn't
got-
want
I got-
Cup,
I got
actually.
Jamar
I got
Chase.
sniped. I got sniped on Woods. Oh, you got Jamar Chase. Boo-hoo. That's such what a consolation prize. Yeah, I wanted Woods. I kind of lucked out and got Cup instead. It was like, all right, fine. I just want pieces of this Rams offense and got Cup. And,
Yeah.
and
You
man,
got
that is
the
working out
piece.
big
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, you ended up with the piece in that Rams offense.
No kidding.
Good stuff. All right.
What you gonna do? Buy or sell?
All right, so before the show, I asked these guys to bring a couple buy lows and a couple sell highs. This is obviously from a redraft perspective, not dynasty. So Joe, we'll go to you first. Give me one of your buy lows.
My number one buy low is Calvin Ridley. If you look at this guy, we're talking about target share. He is 9th in the NFL at 27.4. He has 52 targets. He's only got 31 for 281 yards. That is ridiculous. That is going to go up. Matt Ryan has picked things up the last few weeks, and I expect things to get better for Ridley. And also keep in mind, like the numbers 52 and 31 for targets and receptions is a little low. He did miss a game, and they had their bye week already too. So, you know, he missed 2 games.
2 games. Yep.
Yeah, he missed 2 games. So and a bye week. So right? Am I doing the math right there? No. So they had a bye week in week. Were they the bye week 6? And then he missed week 5.
Yeah, because that London game.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He didn't
so that's
travel.
what it is. Yeah, I can't do the math right now. And so anyway, I think things are going to go up for him. And I've seen some crazy trades where like you can still get him. You can get him pretty cheap. You're going to sell somebody that is performing fairly well right now, but you don't have to go like where he was being drafted early on, which was in the mix of like that wide receiver 4, 5, 6, 7 range. You can get him for like a wide receiver like 14, 15, 16 range, and I still think that's a bargain.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm actually I had him on my list as well as a buy low because of those same reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, he's being targeted. Things are going to even out eventually, so I 100% agree with you. Brian, give me one of your buy lows.
I'm going with Javonte Williams. I know we all like the rookie hype and like kind of switching that dynasty mode, but he's still not being viewed that highly in redraft because his rushing attempts aren't very consistent. Out of the last 4 weeks, he's only hit double digits once, and that was only 11. But the thing he's done really well, which kind of drove us to Swift last year, is he's getting targets in every game. We have 4, 3, 3, 3, 3, 7. Like he's being targeted in a weapon in the passing game, and that seems to be really consistent. He just hasn't broke off a big play out of those pass catching situations yet. But that's something you're gonna see the more it happens.
Yeah.
And when I see a running back get 7 targets last week, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
And he's somebody I want to get. He's having a very quiet top 24 season.
Yeah.
Like, it's not being talked about at all.
Yeah, because he's not getting that crazy volume because he's splitting with Melvin Gordon basically 50%, but he's putting up really good numbers with that little bit of work that he's getting. So I agree 100%.
And yeah, and if by chance Melvin Gordon something happens,
Yeah,
it's wheels up, man. He's getting those 5. He's gonna get 5 targets a game, plus 18, 20 carries, and that's enormous.
Yep.
Come playoff time.
Agreed 100%. So one of my buy lows, I think Joe took the one I really want to go with, Calvin Ridley, but I'll go to another receiver, Mr. Keenan Allen. I think some owners are
got mine.
disappointed. Payback. He's got one touchdown on the season. I think he's got a ton of targets. He's got a couple games with like 13 or 12 targets. The last 2 games he didn't get a ton. I think he got 9 and 5 targets. But the owner, that drafted him, wanted those touchdowns, and Mike Williams has been sort of that guy right now. But Keenan Allen still has a ton of value. He's super consistent. He's going to put up double-digit points for you pretty much every week, just based on his volume and his targets that he gets. So yeah, Keenan Allen is definitely on my buy low list if you can get him. He's a buy low in Dynasty too because he's getting a little bit older. People are wanting to maybe get rid of him, so you can probably get him a little bit lower in Dynasty as well. All right, Joe, let's switch it up. Let's go to a sell high.
Oh, so I've got a couple guys, and I might make Ryan mad here, but I'm going Jamar Chase.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Oof.
I think
his target share is not there. It's pretty low. Well, no, sorry, it's not the target share. It's just it's like the catches per target. It's just enormous. And he's got 6 touchdowns on the year. He's only got 51 targets on this team. Caught 35. Something it's gonna regress a little bit, guys. Look, I'm not selling him for cheap, for sure, because he is a baller and we know he can perform. But I think you can get some really nice pieces for him. Multiple good pieces. You can get multiple good pieces for him. I mean, he's crushing it right now.
Yeah.
And I just think there's gonna be tons of regression here for him in the second half. That touchdown rate's gonna drop like a rock. It has to. There's just no way that stands up to what it's doing right now.
Yeah, I just pulled up.
He's on pace for the best rookie season ever, and I heard he might be on pace for Calvin Johnson's record.
Wow. Yeah, I just looked up his
1,900 yards. It's crazy.
His yards per reception is almost 21 and a half. The guys that are close to him are guys that don't really get a lot of targets, like Henry Ruggs, Quez Watkins, but he's getting targeted, plus he's getting those long plays. I think that is going to come back to earth a little bit as well.
Lots of yards after catch.
Lots of yards,
Yes.
yeah. Yep.
Lots of just broken tackles, yak yards.
Yep, agree 100%. I do think you got to get the farm. I mean, you don't sell him for anything.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely not selling him just to sell him.
Yep.
I'm not selling him going at the regression price. I'm selling him at the price now.
Yep.
There's no way.
Yeah.
'Cause even at a little bit of regression, he's still gonna be good.
Yep.
So don't go crazy. Don't take my words. Oh, you told me to sell him.
Yeah.
No, stop it.
100%.
I've had that happen.
Ryan, give me one of your sell highs.
Someone we just talked about, and it's George Kettle. We have all these questions about the San Francisco offense, and George Kettle is one of the maybe 3 players in the league whose health just always concerns me because of how he plays. Because he's so physical and just has no regard for his body. I'm worried about him. I have too much of him, and I would want to move on. So I'm hoping he comes back this week, falls out with no Deebo Samuel there, and then I'm moving him. I'm not trying to move him.
Yep.
Wait for that week. Don't do it today. Wait till he plays as the only pass catcher this week, and then get out from under him, man.
Yep.
Because while the prize could be great, you could be without a tight end.
Yep, I like it. And that's actually kind of where I'm going with my sell high as well. And this one's not going to be very popular, but if you can get a haul, I'm selling Kyle Pitts in redraft. I think what Ryan just said, you can win without a tight end. But Kyle Pitts' value after these last 2 games, over 100 yards each, people just think this is going to be the same thing all the rest of the year, and I don't think it's going to be that good. I think it'll be good. He'll still be a top 12, maybe even top 10, top 8 tight end, but I don't think it'll be what it was the last 2 games. So if you can sell him for a haul right now, maybe you get another tight end like a Dalton Schultz maybe, but then you get added to it and some receivers or a running back. I would sell Kyle Pitts in redraft right now. Joe, you got a face that looks like you don't agree with me. I'm curious to your thoughts.
No. I actually wanted to add one little thing to Kittle and I 100% agree. It was on my list. I'm worried about when Trey Lance does take over, because he will eventually. If the 49ers keep losing, Trey Lance is going to take over, and then I don't know what this passing offense is going to look like. We saw Deebo still get a ton of targets with Lance in there, but it's really hard to trust.
Yep.
And Deebo can almost be on that list as well.
Agreed.
For the same reason.
All right, let's do one more buy low and one more sell high. Joe, we'll go to you first. Give me one of your buy lows.
I put him down here, and the more I'm thinking about it, I'm not quite sure how much of a buy low it is, but I'm still going to go Stephon Diggs. He's underperformed this year, mainly due to touchdowns, but again, kind of the same boat as Keenan Allen and Calvin Ridley is the touchdowns haven't been there. The yards really haven't been there for him as much as we were expecting, but the targets are enormous for him. And, we saw last game what can happen with Stephon Diggs, and I expect more of that than we saw the first 5 or 6 games of the season for the Bills. So I want to be able to maybe take advantage of a disgruntled Stephon Diggs manager and buy in on him. Maybe not after this past week. Maybe he has one more bad game here this week, and maybe you can buy in again for a little bit cheaper. But after 2 touchdown performance, it's going to be a little bit tougher.
Tougher. All right. What about you, Ryan? Another buy low.
Hey, going back to the rookie, well, I had a really boring one, but I'd rather talk about this guy. My boring one was Jacoby Myers, just because he's targeted out the wazoo. But I'm going Jalen Waddle. He is 16th in targets right now, and it's an increasing amount from the week to week. He's becoming more of a part of that offense. He's hitting stride there with Tua. And their team has to pass because they're just not a good team. And he's showing he's the cream of the crop there. And if that off chance happens for the trade and you get Deshaun Watson in there, holy cow. That's huge. Yeah.
Got limit.
Waddle, as he is, man, is a super talented receiver who's starting to get volume. He has a couple double-digit target games under his hands. He's getting consistently the ball sent his way, and he's a big play guy. It's gonna add up together soon.
Yeah, I like that one. All right, so I'm gonna give one more of mine, and it's a guy that you're gonna have to trade for, and then probably not start him for a little while, and that's Tyler Lockett. I think Lockett right now with Geno Smith has just been absolutely terrible. If you can afford to draft or trade for Tyler Lockett and hold him until Russell Wilson comes back, Russell Wilson and Lockett were on a different level before he got injured. So having him for that playoff run, Lockett we've seen put up some monster game-winning type weeks for you. If you can afford to trade for him and you do get him cheap, and you can just stash him on your bench, I think you should go after Tyler Lockett as a buy low. All right, let's do one more sell high, Joe. What you got?
I'm going to tight end, and I'm going CJ Uzomah. The guy has seen 19 targets. He's got 17. Yeah. Just so happens 5 of them have gone for a touchdown. People are all in on this guy all of a sudden, and no, I'm sorry, I'm not buying that kind of volume with touchdown rate. That's streamer tight end category for me at best. And you're gonna see a lot of 0 weeks out of him, and it's gonna be bad. I'd almost much rather play a he's up there with a Jawan Johnson type rate there, where he's got 7 and 3 touchdowns. That's what we're talking about here. And Uzoma's caught a couple big passes, but this offense clearly is going through the receivers, and he's just feasting off the open coverage, and it's just not sustainable.
Yeah, and I think I saw a stat, and it could be wrong, but I think of his 5 touchdowns, of all of his targets, really, whatever it is, 19, none of them are end zone targets. All his touchdowns are
they're all catch and runs.
Yeah, all catch and runs. So when you're not getting end zone targets as a tight end, typically you're not going to be a good tight end. He's just gotten lucky on those 5 touchdowns and just been wide open and was able to get into the end zone. All right, Ryan, give me one of your sell highs.
I don't know if it's a sell high as much as just a sell, but I think he still has some of that preseason shine on him, and that's Antonio Gibson. This offense right now is not good. He's getting less snaps. McKissick's showing he has more of a role in that offense. He's not efficient. This team's just not good, and that's just not what we want for Antonio Gibson. We thought they'd be playing with the lead because they have the stellar defense. He tote the rock 20-plus times a game. He's done that once since week 1. It's not there. Their schedule doesn't get that much easier. They have Tampa left. They have Dallas twice. Games are going to be playing from behind where he's not going to be getting volume, including Dallas in that last week for the playoffs. I don't want him on my team now. If I don't have to, and I can get another starting running back, like one of the buy low guys for him, I'm doing it. Like, I want out.
Yeah. Yeah, if you could find someone like me in your league that still hopefully holds out hope that he can be what I thought he was going to be this preseason, that you might be able to still sell him for a decent price.
I'd say one out of every 5 people still believe in Antonio Gibson.
Yeah.
I like that one, but I think if you're in a savvy league, it's going to be hard to get a fair value for him, just because he's dealing with that shin injury,
not going away.
And so the stress fracture. Like, I am terrified that he can't stay on the field.
Yep.
And we're seeing it already, where McKissick is starting to take a lot more snaps away from him, and if exactly what you were saying, Ryan, like, they're going to get behind, and McKissick is clearly the passing down back.
Yep.
So,
and this is a good week for him too. Like, he could have a good week against Denver.
Yeah.
Get rid of him right before the bye.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Is how long before the how long before the football team just shuts them down? They get a couple more losses under their belt, and they do the Christian McCaffrey, where they like, oh well, you could play if we really needed you to, but we don't need you to, so this shut you down for the rest of the year, and then you got nobody. Yep, agreed 100%. All right, so my last sell high is in the same mold as what Joe's tight end, and that's Mr. Hunter Henry. Has now caught a touchdown in 4 straight games. He did have one of those games where he only had 2 targets. One of them was for a touchdown. I think he had 4 targets in the last game. One of them was for a touchdown. I don't think that's sustainable. He's not getting enough volume for me to really buy into Hunter Henry, and I do think that people see those numbers, see those touchdowns, and think that's going to continue through the rest of the season. I think with Jonnu Smith is going to eventually get a bigger role in this offense. Myers will eventually score a touchdown, we think, I hope. But Hunter Henry is a sell high. Yeah, poor Myers. I mean, that's just a terrible record to have the most yards of any receiver ever and not score a touchdown. But Hunter Henry is a sell high for me right now as well. All right, let's get to our prop bets.
Going for 2 Live and PlayPickup.com present the Pickup Props of the Week.
All right, if you haven't seen this segment yet, we have a sponsor, PlayPickup.com. They give us a widget that allows us to embed prop bets right into our articles. So any article you read of ours, you can go in there and vote on prop bets. If you verify your prop bet with your phone number and you get it right, you get points. And when you get those points, you can then trade those points in for free stuff. So it's pretty cool. It's free to play. It's in all of our articles. You'll see the prop bets in there. You can vote on them. So on the show here, we do usually about 5 of these prop bets a week. And we'll kick off the first one here with a very simple one. Over under, how many points will there be in the Packers-Cardinals game? And the over under is set at 52.5. Ryan, over under 52.5 for the Cardinals-Packers.
I think I'm going to go over. I don't think the Packers defense is that good this year, and the Cardinals are just scoring it well. And I think they'll put up enough points where Green Bay doesn't have to do as much to hit that over on there.
I like it. What about you, Joe? Over under 52.5.
I'm actually going to go under. I do think, the Packers are going to want to slow down this game, and it's hard to do with Arizona because they just move. But I think Aaron Rodgers has been known in the past to be able to do that, even against the best teams. And without his 2 best receiver weapons, he's going to have to.
Yeah. I think I'm going under as well for those same reasons, and the fact that it's a Thursday night game. A lot of times we see these Thursday night games, they don't do walkthroughs like they do with full games on Sundays, so they don't get quite as much prep time. The fact that you mentioned Devante Adams is out, Allen Lazard is out, there'll be some receivers that haven't really done a whole lot this year trying to play. So I'm going to go under as well on this one. And I think that Arizona defense is better than people give credit for. I think they're going to be able to hold the Packers.
I think both defenses are better than people give credit for.
Fair point. All right, next one I got here is Brandon Cooks versus Robert Woods for Week 8. Of course, they're playing in the same game. More receiving yards in Week 8. Brandon Cooks or Robert Woods, Brian?
Brandon Cooks. They're going to be playing from behind. They're going to be throwing a lot. Typical Brandon Cooks situation. He's 7th in the league in targets. I think he's just going to keep doing what he's doing. We've seen that matchup doesn't matter because they're always overmatched.
Yeah.
I think he'll still be good. And I don't know if they'll even have Jalen Ramsey shadow him.
Yeah, probably not. Just to give you all the field on that first one, over under Packers Cardinals, the field is going over on that one. It's 75% to 25%, so that's a pretty drastic measure there. Brandon Cooks or Robert Woods, Joe, in Week 8, who has more receiving yards?
I'm going Woods, especially with Tyrod possibly playing this week. Even without, I think Cooks is just a target monster, and yeah, more to the point of what Ryan says. I'll try to keep short.
All right, yeah, I'm going Cooks as well. I don't know if y'all saw the tweet after they traded Mark Ingram. He's kind of pissed off that he got traded, so he's gonna come out and play a pissed off game. So yeah, give me Brandon Cooks as well.
And it's a revenge game on one of his 3 old teams.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, and the field agrees with us as well on that one. The same 75 to 25%. Similar prop bet here with 2 guys, but these guys are actually on the same team. So we know Jamar Chase likely to lead their team in receiving yards, but the 2 guys behind him, T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd, more receiving yards versus the Jets. I'll go to you first this time, Joe.
Ooh, this was close. Man, I want to go Higgins, but I think it's Boyd. Boyd's just been able to manufacture more yards after the catch, and just he's just been able to do more with his opportunities. So I'll go Boyd.
All right. What about you, Ryan? T. Higgins or Boyd, more receiving yards versus the Jets?
I'm gonna go Higgins. I know he had the matchup last week, but they targeted him 15 times, something like that, something absurd.
It was 15 times last week. That's crazy.
Yeah. And that's a sign they're going to keep going to him. And he still had, the matchup, they played him well, but this is the Jets. And if he gets half of those targets, it's huge.
Yeah.
Boyd gets Boyd lines. I'm going to go off the ceiling on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you as well. I'm going Higgins as well. I think Higgins is more of a bigger play receiver. I think Boyd is the safety blanket receiver. I think Higgins has a chance to break off a big play. If he's getting 15 targets a game, I know that probably won't happen every game, but if he got that last week, he gets that against the Jets, he's just gonna have a monster game. And the field agrees there. It's a lot closer though, 56% to 44%, so they're pretty split there on those two. All right, this next one's kind of interesting. This is not one that we've done before. Cowboys versus Vikings. Who leads this game in receiving yards on Sunday Night Football? And they list the usual suspects here. We got CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, or the obligatory someone else. And I'll go to you first, Joe.
Taking the field, no. No, definitely not.
Dalton Schultz?
I'm going Jefferson. I expect Minnesota to be down in this game, and so they're gonna have to pass the ball. And Jefferson's their guy. After what was it, week 1 or 2? I forget what it was. Jefferson just took over, and he's been demolishing Thielen on the lines for the most part. So I'll just take the probably the chalk play and go Jefferson.
Yeah, and I think I have a feeling Ryan's probably gonna go chalk as well. He loves Justin Jefferson.
I love Jefferson and Lamb.
True. Those were the two.
I was very high on the offseason, still am. But yeah, we got Jefferson and everything that you said. Plus, Trevon Diggs is going to be on him, and I know he's the interception machine. Yada yada yada. But he's given up so many yards.
Yep.
He's aggressive.
He's so aggressive. He's boom or bust. He's probably going to get a pick, or he could get a pick, which doesn't make sense. But he's going to get roasted. He gets killed by double moves, and Justin Jefferson's a technician, man.
Yeah,
he's going to have his way with him.
Yep. I'm going Jefferson as well, just to sweep that one. And the 2 guys that you mentioned as having the best chance, CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson, the only ones that got votes. Amari Cooper and North Thielen got any votes. So it's between CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson.
You watch, Thielen's going to catch a 75-yard bomb. That's what he does.
Exactly. Exactly.
Roast us.
All right, we got one more here. We got a guy that's been having a pretty good season up until the last few games, and his quarterback has turned back into a pumpkin in DJ Moore. And then another guy we talked about earlier this podcast about being a buy low, Mr. Calvin Ridley. Who has more receiving yards in Week 8? DJ Moore or Calvin Ridley, Joe?
Oh. Who are they playing?
They're playing each other.
I don't remember.
They're playing each other.
Do they play each other?
Yep.
Okay. I will go Ridley. Mainly just because of what you said. Darnold's turning into a pumpkin. Like, it's happening. And, I mean, he got benched last week, so it's not good.
Not good. Not good. What about you, Ryan? Where are you going with this one?
Always DJ Moore. Other than just, I love DJ Moore. DJ Moore he's only been under 73 yards this season once. He's been consistently producing. And even if Sam Darnold turns back into a pumpkin, it's Atlanta's defense. And like I said, DJ Moore's as consistent as we come. Every week he's putting up numbers, especially in the yardage department. Like, the touchdowns may not have been there, but we're talking yards here.
Yeah.
And Calvin Ridley's been a lot more boom or bust, and Kyle Pitts is getting a lot of that target share.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with you, Ryan. I think I'm going DJ Moore as well on this one. And I think Darnold hopefully will be able to play this game at least somewhat like he did those first few games. I know he's looked terrible in those last few, but like you mentioned, the Falcons' defense makes anybody look good. So if anybody can look good against the Falcons, DJ Moore will definitely pop off here, and I'll go Moore on this one. All right. Typically, we do listener questions here, but we're up against the clock, so we're only going to do one listener question, and this was a good one, and I want to kind of turn it into a segment, and so I had these guys think of a few players. Francisco Villalobos. Sure, we're going to go with that one. He wants to know the biggest breakout player disappointment so far. So these are guys that we thought were going to break out this year that have let you down. We'll each do one. So, Joe, I'll go to you first.
My number one is Laviska Shenault. He's been just I had really, really big hopes for him.
Same.
And especially after all the crap that was said about DJ Shark and you just thought Shenault was going to be the guy,
Especially when Shenault went out, I thought it definitely would be Shenault. I mean, Shenault would take
ETN.
Out. Yeah, ETN and then and Shark was what I meant to say. When Shark went out, still didn't seem to get any more targets or anything.
So Shenault is just killing me. I kind of overdrafted him. I believe I overdrafted him in our Crab Cake League because of that. And, I'm paying for it. So,
yeah, I agree. Ryan, biggest breakout disappointment so far?
I mean, we've heard the term QB proof so many times, but it's not Nagy proof. Dude, Allen Robinson, man, you were going late round 2, early round 3. I don't know if he's considered breakout, but we thought he was going to have a huge year because we thought Justin Fields was going to be the answer.
Yep.
But he's not.
He's not.
He's terrible, right? He's wide receiver 60. Like, it's unbelievable.
No, he's droppable at this point, honestly, guys. Like, sorry, he just really is. Him and OBJ.
Yeah, you're drafting somebody that high.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can drop him. It's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Yep.
Like, it is not his fault. Nagy needs to not be part of the football team ever again.
Nagy is like Adam Gase 2.0 right now.
He should go back to the Pee-wees and relearn football.
Yeah.
But, like, Allen Robinson's droppable, man. And everybody loves Allen Robinson. There's not a person before the season who's like, Allen Robinson's not going to have a good year. Everybody loves him no matter what.
Yep, 100% agree. And I'm actually going to stay in that same offense with mine, and I'm going to go Darnell Mooney. I thought he would be a breakout. I kept giving the stat this offseason about how many deep passes was missed, when he was wide open by Mitch Trubisky last year. And I said, whether it's Dalton or whether it's Fields, I think that those guys can hit him on those deep plays, and that has not happened. He's come on a little bit in the last couple of weeks, but not enough that really paid off where I would have drafted him. So Darnell Mooney is my breakout disappointment so far this year.
Can I throw in one more, and I won't give an explanation, but just Russell Gage. It's like
I had him on my list as well.
The exact same Mooney, and it's Russell Gage for he was filling in the hole, man, in that offense, and everybody's like, "Oh man!" And I fell for it.
Yep, I had him on my list as well. Matter of fact, all the ones y'all mentioned, I had on my list. I had all those, and then I had Gabe Davis as well. Was one more that I had. I thought Gabe Davis was going to be good this year.
Yeah, I had CEH too.
CEH is another one. Yep.
I was thinking about that one.
I didn't want to pile on an injury guy. Though,
Yeah, he was bad before the injury though, so I agree 100%. All right, let's get to our final segment.
Get ready for GoingFor2.com's Forgotten Fantasy Player of the Week.
All right, Joe, I think last time you came on the show, who was it you gave us last time?
I gave us Ron Dane.
Ron Dane, that's right.
he had like a 4-week stretch in one season that actually carried me to a championship over the team who had LaDainian Tomlinson on his his record-breaking year. The dude also had McNabb that year when he was just killing it. The dude went undefeated in the season, and I beat him in the championship with Ron Dane. So yeah, that's a fantastic one.
That is a good one. I don't think we've had that one since either. You don't even want to give that one.
I had to go back, man. That's a hard one to forget. When somebody random like that gets you the championship, you're like, okay. The one I've got this week, and my phone just closed on me. Hang on, is Knowshon Moreno.
Nice.
2013, man. Let me tell you a little story about it. So 2013 was the year my daughter was born, and so I shared a fantasy team with my co-host for the Fantasy Six Pack Hour, AJ Uppergarth, because I was like, look, man, I don't know what my first kid's gonna do to my time. Let me share a team this year, and like we're on the phone talking at this point because this was before like all these
chat
systems were in
and
place to be
everything.
able to like do all this stuff easily, right? So we're talking on the phone, and it's like the last round. And I'm hearing noise about Knowshon Moreno from Denver, but I was like, this was when Monte Ball was there and Ronnie Hillman, and it was like, oh, it's Monte Ball on his team. It's Monte. But I'm hearing noise about Knowshon Moreno performing well, and I'm like, screw it, man. It's like the next to last round. I'm like, it's like Knowshon Moreno. The dude went off and carried this rushing attack, 241 attempts, 1,038 yards, 10 touchdowns. By the way, also caught 60 passes for 548 yards and 3 touchdowns. Never came close to that ever again, and he was like one of my last picks. So yeah, that's just a fun story I've got too.
That's an awesome one. Yeah, Knowshon Moreno, he's definitely forgotten because I mean he had that one amazing year, and then I mean literally nothing after that.
Literally nothing. I was looking at a stat line and being like, oh. Yeah, he was so bad. I think
I'm pretty sure I drafted him after that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, everybody did.
Everybody did.
Like, oh, he could be good again.
Nope, definitely not.
Sorry guys, he's really not good. It just was somehow it all came together, and like he only played one more year after that in Miami, and just was bad. And that was it. He was bad before that. Well, he had his first 2 years were decent, but yeah, that was obviously a pretty monster year that just sort of came out of nowhere, it felt like.
Yeah, definitely.
His ADP was like, I looked it up. I think Fantasy Football Calculator actually goes back that far. He was around like 12 or 13 for ADP.
Wow.
So yeah, he was super late, and he did that.
That's
and it wasn't injury related either. It was just he just outperformed
him.
Monte Ball and everybody.
Yeah, Monte Ball is one of the biggest busts of all time. I mean, everybody was drafting him in the first round. He was a rookie.
Wisconsin running backs, man. They ball.
Yep.
Not pun intended. Sorry.
I was like, boom. All right, that wraps the podcast up. Let's go around the room really quick. Give us your Twitter handle one more time, and tell us if you want to plug anything. We'll go to you first, Joe.
Yeah, man. At F6P_Joe, obviously fantasy6pack.net. We do the show Thursday night, Fantasy Six Pack Hour, and then me and Jeff Sunday at halftime of the Sunday night show. We won't be doing this week because of Halloween and kids, and yeah, they're just gonna ruin everything. Yeah. I was kidding. But
they're the worst.
Yeah, but no, that's check out the site, guys. Check out the Twitter, and it's we do a little bit of everything. So if you're not just football, we look us up.
Good stuff. Ryan, what you got going on?
Find me on here Wednesday nights. Find me over at the NFL Draft Bible. Our show comes out Wednesday mornings. Fantasy Draft Room there. Then find me on Twitter at Fox534.
Good stuff. As always, guys, you can follow me at Jeff Lambert77 on Twitter. I want to plug our Friday DFS show. We do our Halloween show every year, so we will have our Halloween show this year. We all dress up. Gerson has promised me that his costume is amazing. We don't share what we're wearing, so we'll find out what Gerson is on the show. But it's always a fun show. If you're not into DFS, just tune in for the festivities, if you will. But it's Friday nights at 10:30 Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys. For Joe, for Ryan, I'm Jeff. We will see y'all next week. Peace.